But of course, if we can get them, we will. But we don't have to have a million people. I remember the story that's told of Dr. R.A. Torrey, a wonderful man of God that followed Moody on in Moody's ministry. And he was asked to chair a meeting. He didn't arrange or anything, but he was the honorary chair. And so the meeting went very good. It was all different churches on a Sunday afternoon. It was a great gathering in one of the larger churches. And so he gave the announcement, introduced each part, and then it came time to introduce the speaker, and he flipped because the woman that was to be the speaker, he knew it, and she was a worthy one. She was quite a character, and anyway, he thought, well, there's nothing I can do but introduce her. I can't do anything but introduce her. So he introduced her with a heavy heart, and she got up and started talking, and there was something that started happening almost immediately in the meeting, and he couldn't figure out a woman like this, and God's using her this way, and there was weeping started over here, and then it went over someplace else, and all around, right across the whole thing. And what a breaking, what a melting, what a molding. And anyway, through her message, she said that they had asked her to speak, and she felt so unworthy, so incapable of it. Well, first of all, she told them that she got saved 6 months before. She come to Jesus 6 months before. And but she said, last night I spent the whole night with her. I didn't sleep a wink. Yeah. I just prayed and cried out to God to help me because of the situation I was in. And oh, what a meeting, what a meeting. So the prayers of one soul. I imagine I was praying too, but she apparently was the real intercessor, one that had just been saved. So you don't have to be saved 100 years to be able to intercede before the throne of grace and move the hand of God. That'll move a congregation like that. And they weren't Pentecostal people. They believed in salvation, but they weren't Pentecostal people. But thank God for that. Some of you have probably heard of Praying John Hyde, a tremendous man. He died when he was about the same age as Paul. Isn't that something? And yet he had such a tremendous ministry that he's known far and wide for his ministry. On his way home to die, as a young man, he was very sick, and some reason or another God didn't see fit to heal him. But he was on his way home, and he called in England to see an old friend of his that was having some meetings, almost said revival meetings. He was having meetings that he hoped would be revival meetings. So the man said to him, look, can you stay for a few days and really intercede, because he knew of his ministry. And so he did. And this man was on his way home to the States. That he was dying. And so he said, yes, I'll do it. And this was the style of his life. So he interceded and prayed, and the revival meetings that were so hard, and no break coming, nothing really happening, and God brought him. Yes. And he had a tremendous ministry. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
And God can do that for us.
Yes. Amen.
Yes, he can.
Amen.
If we get on our faces before God, it'll happen. And what happened is possible for what happened through the ministry of Elijah to happen with others of us. It doesn't have to be a million, doesn't have to be 1,000, doesn't have to be 100. But if people are sincere, one person before God in travailing prayer can make such a difference.
Yes.
Oh, praise the Lord. And I'm looking for it. I'm lost souls that we be praying for eternity, it seems, they'll come. Backsliders that once loved the Lord and served Him so faithfully, they'll come back.
Yes.
They'll come back. And sick bodies, even the raising of the dead.
Yes.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Amen.
Praise God. We just have to continue with the Lord and continue to believe Him.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. John Knox, he's the father of Presbyterianism. And Scotsman, he prayed one day, God, give me Scotland or I'll die. Now, isn't that some prayer?
Amen.
In other words, he had such a burden. And God's going to be laying some burdens on us. So we must well be ready for it. That when it comes, we won't be taken off guard and wonder what in the world's going on. It'll be a burden from Jesus. And he said, give me Scotland or I'll die. Now that's a burden.
Amen.
That's a burden placed upon his heart by God. And he said, a day, either him or his son-in-law, I'm not sure, but wouldn't it be something if the person had a son-in-law? He said, if I don't spend 7 or 8 hours a day in prayer, I feel it's a day that's ill spent. Wow. Isn't that something? If I don't spend 7 or 8 hours a day in prayer, I consider a day that's ill spent. I remember reading a story one time of a general. He was a British general, and he said, I've got so much to do today that I can't get along with less than 3 hours of prayer. My goodness. That's just the opposite to what our human reason is. I got so much to do today that I can't afford to spend 5 minutes with God in prayer. But he, I don't know what a general. What a general. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. There are some other examples there, but let's look at these brethren that God's given us. Because there's things that are so important for any church. Can you imagine a church trying to run its operation without prayer? There's all kinds of doing it. The land's full of churches that are trying to run things without prayer. Can't be done. Not God's way. I'm deeply concerned about what's going to happen to a lot of these churches that are bought into the kind of music and preaching and goings on. They've ate the world so badly and taken it in, but they left God miles behind.
Yeah.
What becomes of a church that knows of salvation, at least the story of salvation, not the experience? What's going to happen to them if they leave God behind? I like what Moses said. God, if your presence is not going to go with us, carry us not on hence. I don't want to go anywhere. Lord, if you're not